Yeah, hi folks. Yes, in respect to the royals, Ardern is caught between a rock and a hard place. Or should I say, a cock and a hard place when it comes to Harry. And I'll cover that in the video. Yes, Ardern is caught between woke Harry and Meghan and woke Charles and William. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all a bunch of losers. Now I'll cover Ardern in a moment, but first, how stupid and naive can Harry be saying idiotic stuff like this in his book?
The Duke is being heavily criticised for writing about his time as a helicopter pilot in Afghanistan, seen here in 2012. In his autobiography, Harry says he killed 25 Taliban fighters and that he saw them as chess pieces taken off the board. Those remarks are seen by some as ill-judged, that they could make him a target and are unbefitting someone who has emphasised his former military service.
Some things, even though it's what's happened in his life, should have been just kept between him and his family or him and his comrades out there. We didn't need to know certain things like how many people he's killed and so on, or him and William fighting. That's none of our business. So yeah, I get what he's saying and what he's doing, but some bits he could have kept to himself.
And even the Taliban have criticised the prince. A senior aide to the Interior Minister said, "Mr. Harry, the ones you killed were not chess pieces, they were humans."
Humans, really? But how stupid can Harry be? He's just put a target on his back.
Viewer discretion is advised. This clip contains weapons-grade hypocrisy.
I wonder what would have happened to us had we not gone out when we did.
Our security was being pulled. Everyone in the world knew where we were.
I said, we need to get out of here. We are on the Freedom Flight.
Now here they are complaining about their security being pulled in the UK, and now they're in America putting targets on their back. Absolute hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy continues.
I would like to get my father back. I would like to have my brother back.
So to achieve that, he does this.
In the prince's new autobiography, Spare, he alleges that his brother physically attacked him back in 2019, here in the kitchen of Nottingham Cottage on the Kensington Palace estate. In a copy obtained by The Guardian, Prince Harry alleges that his brother wanted to discuss the whole rolling catastrophe of their relationship, but he was piping hot and called Meghan difficult and abrasive. According to Harry, the argument moved to the kitchen, where he gave his brother some water and said, "Willie, I can't speak to you when you're like this." He then writes, "He set down the water, called me another name, then came at me. It all happened so fast, so very fast. He grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, then got to my feet and told him to get out."
And his double-think hypocrisy continues.
One inconsistency that jumped out immediately was Harry saying that after he'd been allegedly shoved to the ground and had this physical fisticuffs with his brother, his first call was to his therapist.
So 1 minute he's a tough Taliban killer, and the next he's a sensitive guy that needs a therapist after a scuffle with his brother. And here's some more drivel we don't need to know about.
And he's neither proud nor ashamed. That he took cocaine at 17. That he lost his virginity to an older woman in a field behind a pub. That it was William and Kate who encouraged him to wear a Nazi costume.
But it was his idea and he wore it. Not William and Kate, but somehow they are to blame. And somehow this delusional man thinks the world needs to know about his cock.
Prince Harry is sparing no expense when it comes to his new memoir. In the bombshell new book, Spare, the Duke of Sussex is reportedly getting very personal while discussing whether or not he and his brother Prince William are circumcised. There were countless stories in books and papers, even the New York Times, about Willie and me not being circumcised, Harry says, according to page 6, adding, Mummy had forbidden it, they all said, and while it's absolutely true that the chance of getting penal frostbite is much greater if you're not circumcised, all the stories were false. I was snipped as a baby. The 38-year-old's confession came up as he divulged that he got frostbite at his older brother and Princess Kate Middleton's pre-wedding dinner, according to the publication. Upon arriving home, I'd been horrified to discover that my nether regions were frost-nipped as well. And while the ears and cheeks were already healing, the todger wasn't. It was becoming more of an issue by the day.
Harry, you are now as trashy as your wife. Now to Ardern's denial over the Netflix saga.
The Prime Minister says she found out she'd be featured in a documentary presented by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, along with the rest of us, when the trailer dropped. Jacinda Ardern gave an hour-long interview to the Nelson Mandela Foundation in 2019, which was later obtained by Netflix. And while her office had known it would be presented by the former royals, the Prime Minister says no one told her.
I'm not buying that for a moment. Now, this is a quote from Ardern's office. In March 2021, the Nelson Mandela Foundation advised the Prime Minister's office they had secured an agreement with Netflix to broadcast a series of interviews, including the 2019 interview with the Prime Minister. Now, that's nearly 2 years ago, and Ardern didn't know about it? You've got to be kidding.
Kefki Maslamani reports.
This was inspired by Nelson Mandela, who once said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived.
It is what difference we have made to the lives of others."
In a trailer designed to inspire, a familiar face.
As leaders, we have the keys to create a sense of security and a sense of hope.
Ah, the gay flag in Ardern. Harry and Meghan couldn't resist that one. Yeah, and now Ardern is cynically distancing herself from Harry and Meghan because they are now hated in the UK. And as far as Harry goes, he's toast. But that's what happens when you hitch your wagon to poison.